Hey guys, welcome back to Obsessed. We have an extremely highly anticipated episode today.
We really do.
Patrick.
Yeah?
Well, Brooke, you don't always have to be a star.
I know, but you do if you are going to be in the biggest boy band in the world. I gotten so worked up that I had thrown up on myself in my stroller. In my 14-year-old self, I said, those are hot men. And look at them now. They're like babies. That was kind of just like a casual interest, which I guess maybe a little bit more than casual.
People loved the ACOTAR episode.
I loved the ACOTAR episode.
I
had a blast
you in the
filming it.
ACOTAR episode. I'm so glad. I really feel like I've always felt like you just get it. Like you get how good it is. And you asked all the right questions. You show all the appropriate levels of enthusiasm, which not everyone can do all the time when we're talking about wings and such.
And you know, I have to say that is because you have done a great job kind of easing me in over the past year. You kind of sprinkle information and then you bring it full circle.
I really appreciate that.
Okay, you kind of give me that synopsis for me.
Yep.
And it's easy for me to catch on.
I mean, and you really are just like the perfect partner for me.
Oh, B.
In life.
You're my perfect partner.
You're my perfect partner in life and through this series that we're now navigating together.
I love that.
And, you know, I had initially said, like, maybe we'll just, like, do that one ACOTAR episode together and then we can, like, combine all the rest of the books. No, we're doing book by book.
ACOTAR correspondent right here.
You're my ACOTAR correspondent.
Yep.
Okay. And so today we are really going to dig into the second book, A Court of Mist and Fury, which
things get juicy in this book. I'll say that.
You know, things get juicy. And this is kind of like the Goblet of Fire, if you will, of the ACOTAR community. Like this is the book. Okay. And some people are like, oh, like that's so basic for your favorite Sarah J. Maas book to be A Court of Mist and Fury. It just like
and you know what? In the ACOTAR family, we don't favorite shame.
No.
We do not favorite shame.
No.
You like what you like, and that's okay.
Thank you, Patrick. He fucking gets it. But this is my favorite, not only just ACOTAR book, but it is my favorite Sarah J. Maas book. Even though I have not, been able to crack into Crescent City yet. Even Pride can't quite crack that open yet. But even a Throne of Glass, which I adored, and we will do a Throne of Glass series together as well. This A Court of Mist and Fury takes the cake for me. This is what changed my life.
Yeah.
This is what broke me up and out and through into fantasy. This is my favorite book of all time.
You scared to say that?
No, this is my favorite book of all time.
And I have to say, from an outsider's perspective, like when you were reading, like you struggled through the first, you put it down, then came back to it. Once Brooke had kind of gotten her way to about this point in the book, right? Ish.
Is that, are you doing the beginning or end?
End.
Yeah. Oh.
The tail end.
Well, I loved it right away, but then I would say once we got to a pivotal scene at the inn, okay, when there was one bed in the inn, that's when my world cracked open.
Yes.
And that's when I had to let you know.
Yeah.
That
I had completely lost Brooke for a couple months.
That my world was shifting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when it really shifted. And for context, I have never read
No,
ACOTAR.
you don't know. You don't
all
know
of my knowledge from Brooke.
Yeah, I feel like you are going to be surprised to hear a lot of things that are going to come out of my mouth today when I'm describing this. Izzy, I'm going to need you on deck because it's been about a year since I read this.
Did you finish this one?
Yeah, I'm on the fifth one. I'm on the last one now.
My God.
You finished the baby one? She's on the face fucking one.
Oh God, yeah.
Patrick, one time I was reading the last one, Silver Flames, and Patrick picked it up and was like, what the fuck are you reading?
Are you okay?
Because that one is like so smutty, which I'm excited for you, Izzy. I think you'll like.
Wait, is that the one the woman at the beach was reading? With her,
my God, when we were at the beach a few weeks ago, a woman next to us was reading Silver Flames, that last book, rocking back and forth.
Reading her book like this.
Toes curled. and I was just like, you guys, like, I can't stress enough, like, as to what it is, what the material, the source material that she's toe curling.
She was face fucking?
The girl next to us?
like, reading that portion of the book.
It looked as though she had already surpassed that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still heated.
Oh my God. Yeah. Face fucking is just the intro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just getting started.
We
baby.
are just getting started. Okay. I do want to touch on a few housekeeping items before we dive in to A Court of Mist and Fury. And Izzy, as I was saying, it's been a minute since I've read this, so I'm going to need you chiming in because you're fresh to it. I made Patrick watch The Outsiders with me the other night. The film piece from, is it 1982, Patrick?
You were saying 1982.
I think it's 1982. Let me confirm. The Out. And you'll notice I do not have my iPad today. I'm working on the computer because I want to give her a break. I'm worried about her. 83.
83. Okay. And it did read.
It did
like
read
an 83
as though it was
film.
83. And I just really wanted to get my bearings for the plot because I had seen it a very, very long time ago, back when I was like in a Rob Lowe, Patrick Swayze phase, and didn't really remember anything besides one split image of Rob Lowe coming out of the shower.
Yeah. Well, also for context, when we were watching it, Brooke was like, there is one scene I remember, Rob Lowe in a towel that you are like a shower scene that you're going to love. And I'm like, oh, okay. We get to it. And it is like literally like in the background behind like 4 people, Rob Lowe's towel like slightly shifts off his leg. Like, there it is. That's it.
And that is really what had stuck with me and stayed with me throughout the years in the film. And I wasn't really remembering the larger plot. Right. But, we kind of delved into that together and we liked it.
Yeah.
We definitely liked it. It gave us a good understanding for the soundtrack of the musical that Patrick, I'm also going to make him go see it because he's going to New York with his family. I've got to get in touch with your mom.
Yeah.
Let her know that that's what you'll
be required.
What you'll be seeing. That is a required viewing for the Johnson family. So that felt good.
And the movie was not a musical, which that threw me off.
That threw you off a little bit. I also, the cast, I want to run through that a little bit. Yeah. The young man who plays Ponyboy, who is the main guy, and then The Outsiders, both the movie and the musical too. So I was really excited to get to meet Ponyboy. He is not an actor that a lot of people are probably familiar with, but I know him like the back of my hand, you guys, because he is the guy that played, and we did a whole Criminal Minds episode, so everyone's going to know who this is if they listen to the Criminal Minds episode. He played the Reaper on Criminal Minds, who was that prolific serial killer I was telling you about. That spoiler alert, he's the one that killed Hotch's wife. Okay, he's the biggest serial killer in all of Criminal Minds.
Oh, you didn't tell me that.
I didn't tell you he killed Hotch's wife. He killed Hotch's wife. And it was hard to look at this like sweet, innocent little boy and not see the Reaper.
Right.
So I feel like a lot of people don't have that experience while watching The Outsiders, but that was a unique layer.
Yeah. And that picture that you showed me of the Reaper kind of did stick with me.
Yeah, it's very, he's really prolific.
I love that.
Patrick, he faked his own death by stabbing himself like 19 times.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was actually the only victim of the Reaper that stayed alive. So he was available to help us with the ongoing investigation of the Reaper. And then it turns out he was the person we were least expecting to be the Reaper because he was one of the Reaper's victims. Stayed himself.
I see.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So
that's Ponyboy for you. That's Ponyboy for you. Then Patrick Swayze plays the older brother, which I like.
Yeah, okay. I like that as well.
I like that. And then we've got Rob Lowe playing Soda Pop, which I like. And then we didn't think I
didn't think we were allowed to like
I feel horrible. Who? Rob Lowe, because he was too young. I don't mean like in that way. I meant
get your head out of the gutter. Get
your head out of the gutter, Patrick. I meant he just delivered a beautiful.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he really did.
Yeah,
as Soda Pop.
And those are the I really like, and not like I mean like as a performer, like Soda Pop in the music too. So that was fun. Great cast. You liked Matt Dillon a lot.
Yeah, I really did.
Yeah, you weren't familiar with him before.
Phenomenal job as Dally. Yeah. So
go ahead and watch The Outsiders to just get a general sense of that plot line that will help you as you navigate the Outsiders soundtrack. Yeah,
because something does tell me we'll be hearing about The Outsiders again post Broadway.
Like when I go see it, I fear this will be a big one. This is going to be a big one.
Brewing.
It's like scary to know that something big is coming. And it's already like I'm listening to the soundtrack nonstop. I'm making Patrick watch the movie with me. I'm making Patrick listen to the soundtrack. So if it's like this now, like just like the thought of what's going to happen when it's never easy to know that something like that is coming. But I appreciate you standing side by side with me.
Oh God, of course.
As we navigate it. Then we had a few sips of marijuana puff during that time that we were watching the film, and so we had to go a few sips of a joint.
Yes.
A few sips of a
Like
joint.
sip.
And we had to go on a YouTube video spiral after.
Oh, dear God. Yeah.
And we entered the Jonathan Groff space.
We did.
As
Universe, really.
Universe. And the video that I always make people who I'm like trying to get into Jonathan watch, and this I had made you watch so long ago.
Literally so long ago.
Right when you first came out, I was like, I got to show you something.
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
Truly
but have
day
you
one.
seen Jonathan Groff's 7:30 p.m. performance of Don't Stop Me Now at Joe's Pub? So that's what I said to Patrick the second he came out. And it was actually when Patrick came out, there was a little bit of tension because I said to him immediately, I have to set you up with Jonathan Groff. And then Tristan was there and said, what the fuck? Like,
Hello.
Hello.
Been here the whole time.
I've been here the whole time. So that I felt bad about that.
that.
But at the end, I did get in trouble and I felt bad about that. But at the end of the day, like, I can't be setting anyone up with him. So it was kind of like a moot fight.
Right.
But it was a fight nonetheless. But anyway, I keep telling people, like, you need to watch this video of Jonathan performing Don't Stop Me Now at Joe's Pub. 7:30 version is great. 9:30 is fine too. Because he did 2 shows. But there's also this other video that another song he sung that night. Called You Don't Know My Name is by Alicia Keys. And that one I had watched all the time, back in my huge Jonathan era. I was watching all of his performances at Joe's Pub. But for whatever reason, that's not the one that I had showed everyone.
Right. You had always showed.
I had always showed everyone Don't Stop Me Now. Yeah. But the other night, I was like, oh, Patrick, you know what? This one's good too. Let's watch this 9:30 performance of You Don't Know My Name.
We were completely moved.
You guys, stop what you're doing right now. Please go watch Jonathan Groff perform You Don't Know My Name at 9:30 at Joe's Pub.
The way that he was moving his body while also
like I'm sick,
like hitting the most insane notes.
It's
really was something.
It's the acting, it's the singing, it's the way he looks, it's the way he moves, it's his stage presence,
his
like
hair,
Like,
chest.
oh God. Yeah, his shirt is tight.
It's taut.
It's like literally, it's like this is the most talented person in the entire world, and he also just coincidentally happens to be the hottest.
Right.
You know? So we were like, I watched it 3 times once you left.
Oh well, God, yeah, you had to.
Please, I'm begging you all. That is my call to action for today's episode.
Yeah.
My other call to action, and this is the last thing I'll say about Jonathan, because I do think the problem with Obsessed is that I do talk about the same thing every week. And that is the nature of my obsessions, though, is that like I don't like they're always, that's the point. It's
right.
Like I can't stop talking about the same thing.
Right.
So I really do want to apologize, but I do want to draw your attention. Have I talked about 1 minute 44 seconds of Feed Me? Okay. I want to direct everyone to the Little Shop of Horror soundtrack. There's a song called Feed Me, which like if you're just kind of listening for the first time, you might skip it because it's the plant singing who's like an acquired voice, like very like here. Like you might skip that, you know?
Okay.
But once you get to the 1 minute 44 second mark, this note that Jonathan as Seymour hits, because he's now engaging with the plant. Patrick, listen to this. I'm getting 1:44 tattooed.
No more tattoos.
No more tattoos. But if I was getting a tattoo, it'd be 144. Like people get Bible verses.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
144. No.
Sorry. Let's do 143. 143.
I don't know.
Wow.
Have you ever heard anything like that?
No.
I have a crush on him.
Me too. Okay.
He's so talented. Oh, Patrick, I hope we get to meet him together.
I hope so too.
Anyway.
We also had kind of planned that out the other night as well.
Yeah.
Best case scenario for you to meet him would be me there as well.
Right. Just to kind of facilitate, act as more of a moderator.
Right. Kind of keep us on the right path.
Keep us on the right path. Brooke, tell Jonathan 1 to 3 things you like. Move on.
Let's stick to 2 questions now.
Okay.
We'll come back for more later.
Now, Patrick, you kind of swoop in, do some light flirting. Then I can pop back in.
Yes. You can always pop back.
Yeah. So we would tag team that.
Like we always do.
Yes, he was also in the audience at Little Shop the other night, which I really appreciate. I was telling you this. The audience of Little Shop is like really tiny. It's a very small theater. It's off Broadway. And so I was shocked by how many DMs I was getting that's like, Jonathan's here tonight. Because it was like literally I must have gotten a DM from every seat in the house. In the house, which I really appreciate. But like thinking that Jonathan's going to support Andrew is just like, it's so sweet. And
Did you ever see a photo surface from
No, I didn't.
That's a shame.
I know. But I love, they kept it private. They kept it intimate. And I really am so sad that I missed Andrew's run, but I'll see him soon. I'll see him again soon.
Oh, you missed the run.
Yes. I thought I was going to be able to see it when I went home next week, but he ends in 3 days.
Oh,
29th.
God.
I thought I was going to make it, but I didn't.
The fact we didn't go.
I know. We're so stupid. Anyway. Should we really kind of dive into it?
Yeah. And is this book going to be where my favorite character comes in?
Patrick, I highlighted and I underlined when the bone carver comes in. You're gonna be the bone carver. Yay. And he's a key integral piece of the story. Like he kind of cracks something open for us.
Oh, Mr. Bone
Carver. Oh, Mr. Bone Carver. I've been waiting for you. Okay, Patrick, I don't want to put you on the spot.
Oh, God, please.
Is there anything that you can like recap for us that you remember? For the audio listeners only, Patrick's face completely.
Yes.
I could do it too.
Oh, I got this.
Yeah. Just about very, very quick of the first book. Because if you have not seen it already, we did a full book 1 dive. That is a precursor to this episode. But just for like a few.
From the top. We got
even.
Feyre living with her family, not in the ACOTAR world.
I always think it's with an N. It's not. They're not in Prithian yet.
They're not in Prithian.
Yeah, they're in the mortal realm on the other side.
Mortal realm.
Exactly.
Mortal realm. Then Feyre, she's got that annoying ass sister. I'll tell you that.
Yes.
And she kills that wolf.
Yes.
And then that one High Lord.
Yes.
Comes and takes her.
Yes.
To.
Yes.
Prithian.
Yes.
And they're sending her
because that wolf turned out to be a fairy.
Yeah, the wolf was
one of Tamlin's buddies.
But Tamlin was the one that came got
Yes,
her.
Exactly.
And she, she's living this lavish style.
Yes.
And she's confused on why, but she's also living lavish and she wants to go back home.
Yes. Non-stop complaining
because she's pick me.
Yes.
And
it's in that book, yes.
And then you have Amarantha.
Patrick, I'm really completely proud of you.
Amarantha, queen.
Yeah.
I'll say that. And
by title, yeah. Not in her action.
Okay. Then like a full hands and butt itch. Then Amarantha. Then she's
the blight.
She's the blight.
They're talking about that blight. Something's going wrong. And then we find out that Amarantha, that queen is kind of like sending creatures out.
Yes.
Like, for example, the ACOTAR.
Yes.
Yeah, people like creeping around being evil.
Yes, and she sneaks out. Feyre snuck out. And then that's where she turned around and saw the most beautiful thing she's ever
calamari.
seen.
Saw the most beautiful man she's ever seen. And he
calamari?
Calamani or something like that, but I've always pronounced it calamari because that's what's easiest for me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she snuck out one night, and it was that festival where Tamlin has to have sex with someone to fertilize the soil or whatever, make magic. And then she's getting like in that scene in Twilight.
Mean by fertilize?
Like literally he has to make the magic ripe in the land, so he has to have sex with someone in the cave.
Yeah,
it like goes without saying. And then Feyre is about to be like assaulted by these two fairies. And then someone stops her and says, there you are. I've been looking for you. And she turns around to see the most beautiful man she's ever seen in her life, which we know is now Rhys.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to finish it all off, Amarantha, she does a riddle.
Exactly.
What's the answer to it? Love.
Yup. Hey guys, we want to take a quick break to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Quince. Here's something I'm really looking forward to as the weather turns cooler. Reading books by the fireplace, pumpkin spice lattes, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. Quince is known for their Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50. And it's not just that. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. That includes beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. How are they able to do that? By partnering directly with top factories and cutting out the cost of the middleman, which passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing and practices. And of course, premium fabrics and finishes for that luxury feel in every piece. You guys know how much I love my boyfriend hoodie from Quince. I always talk about it because it's that good. Shopping with Quince is so easy, and you're getting an amazing quality of other brands for a fraction of the price. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/OWB for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/OWB to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/OWB. Hey guys, we want to take a quick break to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Tushy. Everyone loves to invest in the best for their skin. High-end cleansers, moisturizers, serums, you name it. But what about our most sensitive skin? The skin down there. With a Hello Tushy bidet, you can protect and soothe your most delicate skin by washing it with the precise stream of fresh water. Surprisingly, wiping with toilet paper and wet wipes is doing you a disservice. They often disrupt your natural pH balance, introducing harsh chemicals and leaving behind bacteria that can lead to infections like UTIs. So upgrade your hygiene routine today with Tushy for a superior clean. I've been loving my new Tushy bidet. I never used to use a bidet, and now I never want to go back. Not only do you feel super classy like you're in Europe, but you know you're using a product that isn't harmful for your sensitive skin. The installation was so easy, even as someone who isn't that handy. And the results are awesome. You feel cleaner and you don't have to waste so much toilet paper. Your friends will also love it when they come to your house. The Hello Tushy bidet attaches to your existing toilet in under 10 minutes, and there's no additional plumbing or electricity required. Anyone can install it. Every Hello Tushy bidet comes with a 30-day hassle-free return and a 12-month warranty. Feel as fresh and confident as you do after your skincare routine and join the 2 million butts who've already switched to Tushy. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first bidet order when you use code OWB at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com with promo code OWB. I can't believe you. I'm really proud of you.
Yeah.
But yeah, just piggybacking off of everything you said, which was perfect.
I don't think there's much else
she
to
falls
say.
in
That
love
was kind
with
of a
Tamlin.
perfect recap.
He sends her back. And then she's like, no, I don't want to be back in the Immortal anymore. Something's wrong. Because remember, that girl was killed.
Because she said, my name's
It's
blah,
Claire
blah, blah.
Better. Claire Better was killed. She goes back under the mountain to save Tamlin. Tamlin ends up just sitting there kind of watching her just do everything. And Rhys kind of helps her take on those challenges. But they make that bargain. Remember that bargain? Where he's like, if I like save you right now, you need to come and stay with me for 2 weeks in the night court when this is all done.
Yeah.
And she makes that bargain. You know, she's got that tattoo of the night court on her arm. She's kind of able to communicate with Rhys through that. And yeah, at the end, she saves everybody, but not without a cost. She ends up having to kill like 2 fairies to do it, which like really haunts her and weighs on her. And she kind of like is not the same. She's not the same because of that emotional baggage and because she had actually ended up dying. And then all the High Lords, thanks to Rhys kind of gathering them together, were able to bring her back to life. So now she's a fairy.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
She said goodbye to Rhys at the end and was like, bye. And Rhys kind of like had a moment where like he was like staggered backwards. Like something clearly was going on at the end of that book that we weren't privy to. He flies away because remember, he has wings.
Right.
Which really only kind of Feyre knows about. No one knows about his wings because they're so precious to him. He's able to hide them. But Feyre knows that
we finished the first book with her thinking Tamlin is good and Rhys is bad.
everyone, including Feyre, is confused about Rhys because like he is kind of like an asshole, but he saved her life on so many occasions.
Okay.
And remember, he was making her drink that fairy wine.
Yeah.
And dance in those little like night
little kitten
cloths.
And Feyre's little kitten heels.
So it ends with her saying goodbye to Rhys, him being weird and flying away, and then her going back to the spring court with Tamlin. But it's clear that like she's going to be scarred by what happened to her under the mountain, because who wouldn't be scarred by all that, you know?
Right.
And now, can everyone also hear the dumpster trucks outside, or is that just us? It's something you guys might hear, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into it. I'm so excited. Okay, so the book really opens. Feyre's back in the spring court. Her and Tamlin are engaged. The wedding is being prepped, but that is going to distract me.
It is like
They'll
right
be gone
outside.
In a second. They're just getting the recycling. It's recycling day here in Los Angeles.
Oh, that's good. You recycle.
7. I personally do. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I actually do. I'm like scared of the trash here because I don't know like which bin I'm technically supposed to put it in, and I have been ordering so much stuff like as I like I don't know, just because I have an addiction, and also because it's like stuff for the house, so it's kind of like big packages. I bring every single one of my boxes to the studio to recycle. I load up my car every day with boxes and throw them out.
You don't do them here?
No.
Okay.
I like throw like little things away here, but like all of my big boxes I bring to the studio, and because there's a big
old dumpster there. I'm thinking like not that you ever like. I feel like you're like the most honest person. Like I never have ever caught you in a lie, but I feel like you should start like swearing on your ACOTAR.
Yeah,
books.
I'm about.
If I ever need info out of you, like
I swear. Yeah, I swear on Rhys.
Hand on Mist and Fury.
Yeah, hand on Mist and Fury.
That's what
my hand to Sarah J. Maas.
Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah,
I did not do it.
Seriously, that's good. I do. You'll never. I don't lie because it's like it doesn't mix with my
Right.
brand of OCD. But if I ever hand to Sarah J. Maas, I swear to Rhys. Okay, I feel good about resuming now. Okay, open in the spring court. Feyre is planning her wedding. There's an introduction of this new character, Ianthe. Okay. Okay, we meet Ianthe. She's a high priestess, childhood friend of Tamlin.
Ianthe sounds gorgeous. I'll say that.
She is pretty. But she's kind of taking over the wedding planning, kind of like getting Feyre in line. Like Feyre,
Ianthe's going to be more of a wedding planner.
Yes, she's taking on the role of wedding planner, making sure Feyre knows her place. Like, this is where you stand next to Tamlin. Like, this is what you need to wear. This is what you need to say. Very much kind of like micromanaging, like how Feyre needs to like present herself in the spring court as Tamlin's consort. Okay.
And is, I forget, is Feyre like down for this, excited for this, or was this a requirement from Tamlin?
Perfect question. The book really opens on her having night terrors as she sleeps in bed next to Tamlin, and actually literally sprinting to the bathroom to puke every single night because she is like a shell of a human, completely PTSD from what happened under the mountain, like has lost so much weight, just like a shell of who she used to be. And Tamlin's just kind of pretending he doesn't hear any of that.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. You're good.
See you at the altar.
See you at the altar. Ianthe's kind of making her wear these like puffy, hideous dresses that Feyre like is just like, it's very clear that she's very unhappy, but like also doesn't feel like she has the right to be unhappy. It's just like a lot mentally like happening with her. She's not in a good place, but also she's like, I have everything that I want now, so it should be fine. But she's really struggling, and she's not getting any of the help that she needs.
Hey, been there.
Yup.
She thinks it would be really helpful if she could leave the house and maybe go to like a neighboring village. Tamlin will not let her leave the house. Okay. Tamlin, I guess, in his own way, is struggling with what happened under the mountain, and that's manifesting in like Feyre like say like I'm like locking you in here.
Okay.
Like, which is obviously like terrible.
That's not how you treat a consort.
It's not how you treat anyone.
Nothing. Specifically consorts.
Specifically someone who's been locked in a cell under the mountain for so long.
Yeah.
And when he was kind of just sitting there watching, remember that Chris Pine meme?
Yes. Yeah.
That meme. But he's just like, you cannot leave the house. I don't want any of your help. Like, you are just like you're my consort. That's really how he views her. Okay.
Hot.
But she's like, I'm going to be the high lady, right? Like, what are my roles as the high lady? And he's like, no, there are no high ladies. Like, your job is basically just like stand next to me and look pretty. Okay. That's what I want from you. Okay.
So me to you.
Literally. And she's really just like struggling. Like, her clothes don't fit. Like, all this, like, it's bad. Okay. She's also wondering, like, why has the mating bond not snapped into place between me and Tamlin? Because she knows, and we learned about this a bit in the first book, like, you don't have to be mates in order to like be together. Some people get married. Like, you can just get married and not have that mating bond. But a lot of fairies do have a mating bond in place between them, which is like the cauldron, kind of like the higher power, really. The cauldron kind of sets that into fate. Okay.
So with the mating bond, it's like, oh, now we have officially kind of
we're mates.
We have this whole other
we
level.
have a bond that is completely unbreakable, unique to us, one of a kind.
And did they
like,
do one of those?
It is so powerful. And Feyre's wondering, like, why has it not snapped into place? Like, she's finding that so odd that Tamlin is not yet her mate, and like wondering when that will, because you feel it. It's a feeling.
Yeah.
You feel that. And she's also wondering, Rhys has not come and claimed that, remember, come into the spring court, not come sexually.
I was like, woo, these mating bonds.
No, that has nothing to do with Rhys. But he hasn't come to claim the bargain, which is that you stay with me for 2 weeks. In the night court.
Yeah.
So she's kind of like, what's the deal with that? Like, she still has that bargain tattooed on her. Okay.
Wait, she has to go stay with Rhys for 2 weeks?
Yeah, that was the bargain. That's when Feyre was about to die after she got into that tussle with the worm. He was like, I'll heal you, but our bargain is that you have to come with me once this is all said and done to live with me for 2 weeks out of the month in the night court. You're mine for half of the time. Yeah. And she's like, I obviously don't want that, but I want to live. So then they shook on it. She has that tattoo, which she was able to kind of communicate with Rhys through. Okay. But she hasn't heard him at all through the tattoos. She's like, Rhys is MIA. Okay. Feyre does end up moving forward with walking down that aisle in that hideous dress that Anthony picked out. All of the spring court is there. As she's walking down the aisle, she has a full body panic attack. This doesn't feel right.
Okay.
She's in her head screaming, like, help me, someone please help me. And as you know, I've discussed, her and Rhys have that bargain, which they were kind of through.
That tattoo starts tingling.
He shows up. Poof. He pops up into the wedding. He says, hello, Feyre, darling.
Hot.
I love when he says, hello, Feyre, darling.
I love that.
And that's something that you might find on TikTok a lot, that I personally find on TikTok a lot. I'm scrolling and sometimes I'll just hear, hello, Feyre, darling. It's like an AI generated Rhys. And I'm just like, hi.
Hello.
Hiya. So incoming Rhys, he whisks her away to the night court, which in book 1, when we were introduced to Rhys, when he kind of like popped in for the first time, and Lucian and Tamlin tried to hide her, but Rhys kind of like saw through that. They were telling him, Feyre, when they were talking about the night court, like, it's a lawless land, like anything goes there, like it's literally the court of nightmares, like what it's called.
Night court.
That's their court. Yeah, the court of nightmares at the night court.
Wait, are Rhys and Tamlin in the same court?
No, Rhys's night court
and Tamlin's
spring court.
Oh, okay.
So Rhys whisks Feyre away from the spring court to the night court. Feyre's kind of surprised when she gets there because it seems like very like peaceful. She's not really allowed out of, or not allowed, but like she's in the house with Rhys. It's like very like tame, mild, beautiful home.
And something tells me that Tamlin's gonna be pissed about this.
Yeah, you could say that. Okay, but Tamlin did know about the bargain. You know, he saw that when he was sitting in his Chris Pine headset and watching Feyre. He knew about that bargain. But they had kind of thought like it was all moot because Rhys hadn't come to claim her. But now Rhys is back, whisks her away. Once she's there, Rhys kind of sets her up in this beautiful room with these gorgeous clothes that are much more like her speed, like not all those like puffy, like
nothing Anthony would pick out.
Gives her like he's like, oh my God, you need to eat. Like, what happened to you? Like, oh my God, he's like freaked out. like making sure she eats, insists that she learns how to read because she doesn't know how to read. So he's like, I need you to learn how to read, and I need you to learn how to shield your mind, because I think that when all the High Lords brought you back to life, you gained a little bit of everybody's power. So I think that you actually have like all of these powers, and I need you to learn like how to shield your mind and how to train yourself and how to use them, because we need you, because I think war is coming. And Rhys is like, you're powerful and like we need your help.
Okay.
And, which is like the opposite of Tamlin, who was like, you do not fight.
You're locked in a room.
You don't need to be reading.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'm gonna marry you.
Yeah. And then while Feyre's there, she meets Rhys's cousin, Moore, who's this gorgeous blonde woman, who is like just like so excited to meet Feyre. And it's like clear right off the bat that like they're gonna have this connection, because she is just like a doll, an angel sent from above. Moore, M-O-R, Moore, short for Morrigan.
Morrigan.
Yeah, short
not
for
Morgan.
No, not Morgan. Morrigan.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, Rhys is trying to get Feyre prepped because he thinks now that Amarantha's out of the picture. Remember Hybern, that land across the sea where Amarantha kind of came from?
Yes.
Well, she had ended up kind of betraying the king of Hybern and just taking over things for herself. But now that Amarantha's out of the picture, Rhys thinks the king of Hybern is going to come and kind of, because he wants control of the mortal lands.
Okay.
And he thinks that now that Amarantha's out of the picture, he's going to come in and swoop and try to get those.
Okay.
Which would mean that wall would come down and that he would get control over like those lands, which include Feyre's family, her sisters, Nesta and Elain.
Right.
Nesta's that one that's like kind of like, as far as we know so far, just like a bitch. Okay.
Yeah.
And Elain is kind of like sweet, like smell the flowers, whatever. And her dad, who with the bum leg. Okay.
Yes.
So she's like, oh no, like that would suck if the wall came down, because then like my
family's toast.
My family is completely toast. Okay. So Rhys has Feyre for 2 weeks, and according to the bargain, sends her back, respects the bargain, sends her back to the Spring Court. And she tells Tamlin, she's like, I want to learn like how to use my powers and how to fight. And Tamlin is like, absolutely not. Like under no
she's back with Tam.
She's back.
Okay.
They're doing 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off.
She knew better than to be telling him what Rhys is saying.
Yeah. So she
needed to.
At this point, she's still
separate.
like feeling allegiance to Tamlin, of course.
Okay.
And she's like, I want to learn how to fight. Tamlin gets really pissy. What does he do? He like throws a chair at her or something, is he? He like freaks out, has an anger attack.
But why is she feeling loyal to him if she's puking every night and spending night in cellars?
She's not quite connecting the dots yet that like Tamlin is a part of the problem.
Okay.
She's still like, she literally spent the whole book risking her entire life, putting everyone in danger for this man.
Right.
So she's still kind of like, okay, I did all that, so like got to see that through.
Right.
Okay. And while she's back in the Spring Court, after Tamlin's like, no, you literally can't do anything, she accidentally, in a fit of rage, slips into Lucian's mind, which causes her to realize like, oh, I do have like powers. Like Rhys is the only, like Rhys is able.
Remind me who Lucian?
Lucian is like Tamlin's best buddy with the metal eye.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay. But like he's a sweetheart. Like there's nothing wrong with Lucian, honestly, except for that he's like sucking Tamlin's dick.
Okay.
So she
what's wrong with that?
Not a king thing, man. I meant licking his foot.
Not doing that gay shit.
Not doing that gay shit right now. Sit. So yeah, Feyre slips into Lucian's mind by accident, which tells her like, oh, I have some of Rhys's powers, because Rhys is able to slip into people's minds and control them. So she's kind of like, oh, Rhys is right. Like I have more powers than I thought I ever did. So she's starting to get a little pissy that like Tamlin's not letting her do anything. She goes back to the night court for her next 2 weeks. He freaks the fuck out because she looks even worse. She's even skinnier. She's still puking. Like she's like not well. And Rhys is like, this is not acceptable.
Right.
Like we like I know what you've been through. Like, let me help you. And she's like, no, I don't want anything to do with you still, Rhys.
And as a reader, are you like, Feyre, like, wake up, Rhys is trying to help you?
Very much.
Okay.
I think where I stood was like during the first book, I knew going into it, I had gotten something spoiled that like Rhys was endgame. So I was like not understanding in the first book. I was like, how are you going to make us like fall in love with Tamlin and like make her risk her whole life for Tamlin in the first book, and then like throw us to another guy in the second book. Immediately, first few chapters, it's like, okay, I get it.
On board. Fully on board.
Fully on board. But Rhys is happy because she's clearly been practicing her reading, and he makes her write Rhysand is the most handsome High Lord over and over again, which I'm like, you are too much. Rhys, like, you are too damn much. This. Yeah. And she's able to kind of like work on her shielding in her mind. So Rhys is like able less and less to infiltrate her mind, which is what he wants. He wants her to practice that shield. So he's really proud of her. Okay. Now we're back in the spring court for another 2 weeks. She's like, I am going to learn how to fight. Tamlin throws a fit. Lucien is like, I really think you should let her fight, Tamlin. Like, she's her own person. And Tamlin is like, absolutely not. Lucien and I are going to go investigate something shady that's happening outside. You are to stay in this house. Feyre's like, no, I'm coming. Tamlin releases some magic, some spells, locks her in the house. Like puts a spell on her magic, like she's completely incapacitated.
He shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Feyre literally like crumbles in on herself, like has like a full panic attack, like feels like she's back in that cell, like under the mountain, like full body panic attack. And at this point, Moore enters, takes her to the night court, and it's like, we're not doing that anymore. Feyre, you're staying here. And Feyre's like, yeah.
Okay, I love that.
And
that's
like,
sweet of Moore.
Yeah, and while Feyre literally like lit herself on fire. She was freaking out so much, and she can't control her power, so she's kind of like out of control a little bit. And she like her engagement ring just like went up into flames. So it's like
symbolism.
So now we're in the night court. Okay.
Also, another question as a reader: were you like, whenever they were back at the night court or back at the spring court, were you like, God, I just want to get back to the night court?
Yes, because Patrick, I realized all of a sudden I was like, oh, this is why I didn't connect to the first book. I didn't connect to Tamlin, and I didn't connect to the spring court. But once we go to, because I'm a member of the night court. Yeah. Once we got to the night court, once I met Moore and like saw how Rhys lived, I was like, oh, yeah, this is my home. This is what I'm connecting to. But we really haven't even seen the night court yet. We haven't left this like pretty house. Okay. Once Feyre goes back to the night court for good and like actually spends some time getting to know Rhys and like works with him on like. Oh,
so this is not a 2 week stint anymore. She's
now
back
she's
for
back.
good after
she's
the
like,
whole
I'm gonna
Moore
stay.
thing. Okay.
Yeah, with Moore. Feyre says like, I'm not going back to Tamlin, and Rhys is like, I trust you, and I'm gonna show you something. So they leave the house that they were at, which we learn that house is on top of like the Court of Nightmares, which everyone believes like that's Rhys is the High Lord of the Night Court, which is just the Court of Nightmares. Like he's this evil, shitty people in the Court of Nightmares, horrible people, and Rhys is like just as equally publicly like horrible as them to the outsiders, and that's what Tamlin and Lucien were talking about when they're talking about the Night Court. Rhys is like, I want to take you to my real home, and he takes her to Velaris. What was that noise that just came out of you?
It was a but it sounded like a
I didn't know if it was.
I'm gonna take you back to my place.
I'm gonna
Rhys.
This is when we pop in, and they kind of have that like Harry Potter type of, what's that called? You know what I'm talking about, where they can just get from one place to another? Like
when they grab no, not a portal thing.
Something like that. They winnow. This is called winnowing, okay?
Called what?
Winnow.
So
they winnow into Velaris. Not a lot of
winnow into Velaris.
Not a lot of people can. Can you winnow into Velaris, or did they fly there? Doesn't matter. It don't matter. They flew there, okay? And they was like, what is this? I've never seen anything like this. It's a land, first of all, it's like gorgeous with like the water and different, like there's an artist quarter and a music quarter and all fairies, lesser fairies, quote unquote, and like high fae are all living amongst each other, which is not.
Oh, and she said that this is not the night court I heard about.
No, she's like, what is this? And he's like, this is my home. It's been kept secrets. It's been kept a secret for centuries. No one outside of this city knows about its existence. Like I basically have to pretend.
But it's still like within the night court.
Yeah, but no one knows where it is.
Okay.
And there's like many shields and protections on it. You can't get in unless you have clearance.
Okay. I kind of want to go to Velaris.
No, Patrick, everyone. It's City of Starlight. It's like, I can't stress enough how gorgeous it is. I can't do it justice because Sarah J. Maas's words can only do it justice. But like Feyre, who loves to paint, is like, oh my God, this is an artist's dream. And she's never seen people live in peace this way. And basically Rhys has had to present himself as this like evil high lord so that no one comes looking for Velaris. Like he doesn't want the people of the Night Court to know about it. He doesn't want anyone to know about it. As far as everyone else is concerned, he rules those people in the Court of Nightmares. And it's really essentially just so no one comes looking.
Right. That's
a big unlock. And so it turns out that like back when Amarantha first started stealing all the High Lord's powers, the last thing he did was like throw extra shields onto Velaris. And he bound like Moore and the rest of his friends, his found family that we're going to learn about. He bound them to the city. And so it's like if they left the city, then the city would not be as secure. So he basically bound them there. So it's like, do not come and save me.
Right.
Like I will put on this front as this evil high lord under the mountain as long as you stay there in Velaris and keep my city safe.
That's selfless.
Like keep my city safe, and I will be Amarantha's whore for however long it takes.
I do not mind being Amarantha's
so that
whore.
I can make sure that I can stay here and make sure Velaris stays a secret and stays safe, and I will be the high lord that everyone thinks I am. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So that was really a selfless sacrifice by Rhys. Okay. So he's really like not who we think that he is. He has to be an asshole just to keep his city safe.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the asshole tendencies from the first book explained. Okay.
Okay.
Hey guys, we want to take a quick break to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Book of the Month. You guys know how much I love books. You know how much I love reading. And you know how much I love Book of the Month. And I've been really into experimenting with new genres recently. I'm reading a nonfiction book right now, which I never do. And that's why I love Book of the Month, because they give me that opportunity to really dive into genres that I wouldn't necessarily pick on my own. And I'm really having a blast. Book of the Month's mission is to share the best new books with their audience. They focus on finding emerging authors that allow members to find books they may not have found on their own or online. With Book of the Month, everyone gets to pick from the same selection of curated books, so you can read the same books as your friends, family, or book club. One of my favorite things about Book of the Month is the wide but curated variety of books you get to choose from. The monthly subscription gives you a range of genres and authors, so there's something for everyone. October has so many great books, like The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden and The Book of Witching by CJ Cook. If you guys are on Book Talk, you know about Frida McFadden, who wrote The Housemaid, which is why it's so exciting that her new book, The Boyfriend, is available. And subscribers often get special deals, discounts, and early access to books. If you guys are interested in trying Book of the Month and reading with me, you can join and get the first book for just $5 with code PUMPKIN. And when you sign up, make sure to select Obsessed with Brooke on the survey after enrolling to let them know that I sent you. Again, head to bookofthemonth.com and use code PUMPKIN in all caps to get your first book in October for $5. Now it's time to meet the family. Okay? Now we're in Rhys. Rhys has two homes in Velaris. Okay, he has the townhouse, which is like his personal home, which is where he is with Feyre right now. And he also has the House of Wind, which is more so for like parties and visitors and whatever. Okay,
more of a venue.
More of like a venue piece. But of course, there's like gorgeous rooms in it to live in. If anyone needs help, Rhys will let them stay in the House of Wind. Okay. But the townhouse is his own personal home. So right now, we're going to go to the House of Wind to have a nice dinner and meet the family. So Feyre takes Rhys there. We fly up to the House of Wind. We already know more. Okay, that's his cousin. Here we meet Cassian and Azriel, who you might have heard me speak about.
Okay.
Yes.
Cassian and
Azriel are Rhys's brother. Azriel.
Azriel.
Okay, they're Rhys's brothers. Not blood brothers, but brothers nonetheless. Okay? They all met when they were training at the Illyrian war camps. And Rhys is half Illyrian. He's not full high fae. He's half Illyrian, which is technically like a lesser fairy. That's where he gets his wings. Okay? His mom was Illyrian.
Sorry, just like for me, it would be so tough. Like it's a whole different language in there.
In where?
Just like Azrith. Cassia, Morrigan, the Fae.
Yeah, I totally get
Velaris.
Like, yeah, you're getting it though.
Yeah, no, but I'm only getting it because of like your skill level in explaining. Because if I was reading it, I would be so lost.
Patrick, that's the thing about fantasy books. There's so much it just keeps repeating until you get it. Because like the first 50 pages, you're like, I don't know any of these words. And then all of a sudden it's like learning a new language. Genuinely.
Yeah.
It's like the more you're immersed in it, the more you get it. Okay. So we're meeting Azriel and Cassian. Azriel, he's so hot.
Of course he is.
Yeah, like of course he is. He's got his wings. He's Illyrian. He has got scarred hands.
Oh God.
Because he was abused by his brothers and father. Like they threw oil on him like when he was a kid.
Oh.
And he's very quiet, very demure. Like we don't know a lot about him. He's a shadow singer. We don't really know what that means except for he's Rhys's spy. Okay, so Rhys will send him places to kind of get intel. Okay, Cassian is our general. He's the general of the Illyrian army. He is like a himbo god.
Hell
He's
yes.
got
Is
that
he a
long
twonk?
hair. No, he's like literal. I don't think anyone's a twonk because Rhys is the shortest and he's 6'4".
Okay.
Yeah,
but you can always do like in comparison.
Cassian's like 7 feet tall.
So like if Rhys is the shortest in Velaris, he might be a twonk. Like and if you're comparing, if you're comparing, relative to everyone
Rhys
else,
could be, but he's so toned. Like I think of him as like slim toned.
Okay,
you know,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he's a twonk. I feel fucking horrible saying that.
It's okay.
He might be a twonk though.
Okay.
It literally depends. That's the thing about reading. He could be a twonk in your mind.
If I was gonna say, if I was reading,
if you want to make Rhys a twonk, he's a twonk.
Okay, thank you for that permission.
Yeah. So we meet our blood brothers. Cassian is like complete like best war. Like the three of them are the strongest Illyrian warriors that have
They're
come along in
legends.
centuries. They're legends. We also meet Amren, who is Rhys's second in command, who's like this petite young woman, but like we don't really know what her powers are, but like she's so powerful and she also is a monster.
Okay.
So she comes from a different land and she was in the prison for a really long time, the Prythian prison, and she existed in a different form. We don't really know what the form was, but she was a monster of some sort. And now she lives in like this Fey looking body, like gorgeous young woman. But
and what was her name again?
Amren. Amren.
Like why did she need to do Amren when we've got Amarantha already?
That is a good point.
Because Amarantha's taken.
Right. That's a good point. She's not in the picture anymore. She's dead. But
I
still,
guess. Like let's just add a letter at the front. Cameron.
But yeah.
Okay.
So she's kind of like a monster, but like she's tough. She's like spunky, tough, etc. Okay.
And this is all at the dinner party at the Wind House.
Dinner party. Basically, they all come from like tragic backgrounds, but they are a found family.
Yeah.
And Feyre, for the first time, even though she grew up with like a father and 2 sisters, she's like, I think like this could be what family is. Okay.
Oh, I love that.
So Patrick, the next day, Rhys takes Feyre to the prison to meet the Bone Carver.
Yes.
The thing about the Bone Carver is he has
everything.
He's everything. He has information that Rhys needs about Hybern. Sorry, let me just like put this.
Actually, while you're doing that, I would love to tell you guys about the Bone Carver.
Tell us what you know about the Bone Carver.
The Bone Carver, he's gonna look different to everybody, to everyone. Everyone sees the Bone Carver differently.
Yeah.
However you perceive him is what you're seeing. We would see the Bone Carver differently.
Completely see the Bone Carver differently. Okay. Feyre shows up.
Yep.
She sees the Bone Carver as a little boy with purple eyes. She's like, "Who is this?" Rhys has purple eyes.
Okay.
She's like, she sees him as like a little boy.
Hint.
A little boy with purple eyes. Do you remember who Rhys sees him as? Maybe Jurian.
I think it was that.
I think Rhys sees him as Jurian, who is, I don't know if I told you this, in the first book, Amarantha wears a young man's eyeball as a ring. And he is the man who killed her sister, who she loved. So he was a mortal man who killed her sister, which is why Amarantha hates mortals so much, because one of them killed her sister.
Okay.
So Rhys, for whatever reason,
an origin story.
That ring is missing now. The ring with Jurian's eyeball is missing, and Rhys is seeing the Bone Carver present as Jurian, and the Bone Carver lets Rhys know that the King of Hybern plans to bring Jurian back. For what? Who knows? But
okay.
Yeah. So
now is Bone Carver communicating?
The Bone
on
Carver
his own,
is communicating because Rhys brought him a bone. And he's able to carve scenes into the bone. So remember that? I think it was a bone from the worm from the first book. Rhys was like, here, take this, have a blast with the bone.
Okay.
The bone carver gives them information, basically tells them the king is putting together the cauldron. So the cauldron is kind of just like the most powerful tool that kind of like controls the world. And the king was able to find the legs or something that go onto the cauldron. And so if he is able to put that cauldron together, he could take down that wall and wage a war on the mortal realm. Okay. He could literally do anything with that cauldron. So Feyre and Rhys are like, how do we stop him from that?
Wait.
Yes.
Stop who from getting the cauldron?
King of Hybern.
Okay. And wait, who's in possession of the cauldron right now?
King of Hybern. He's really got it all, basically.
Oh, okay. So he has it, and they are trying to get it from him.
They're trying to figure out what do we do.
Okay.
So Bone Carver lets them know about something called the Book of Breathings. Okay. The Book of Breathings is split in half. The mortal queens who run the mortal realm have half of the Book of Breathings, and the other half is somewhere in the Summer Court. Okay.
Right.
We've not been to the Summer Court yet. But that's split in half, and the Bone Carver's like, if you find two halves of these books and put them together, it will tell you like how to nullify the powers of the cauldron. Okay. So now, Rhys and Feyre's new mission is to get those books so they can figure out how to nullify the powers of the cauldron. Okay.
I didn't know the mortal world had queens, by the way.
They are mortal queens.
Really?
Yeah.
And they interact with the High Lords?
I had honestly not really heard much about the mortal queens.
Okay.
Until this book. And there is like, that's their like, those are their powers. So like as much as they would ever need to communicate with the Feyre realm, which I don't think they ever really do, they would, but like I think it's pretty much there. They control the mortal realm and the High Lords control Prithian.
Right. Okay.
So Rhys and Feyre and crew, so Cassian, Azriel, Amren, Moore, etc., they go back to the mortal land.
And is Feyre having any sort of attraction towards Azriel?
She's basically like, they're so beautiful, but I think it's implied at this time, like she's fighting feelings for Rhys. Okay. Wait, there is a point where she thinks about having a threesome or something. No, that's Nesta in a different book. Sorry, forgive me. Forgive me.
Nesta.
Oh, Nesta, which is one of Feyre's sisters, Nesta and Elain. Feyre goes back home to see her sisters and basically like, can you help us like connect with the mortal queens? Can you be our like emissaries to the mortal realm? Like while we kind of figure all this out.
Wait, are her sisters like, where the fuck
and
have you been?
Nesta's basically like, who the fuck is this? Like pointing to Rhys. Like, what happened to the blonde guy you risked everything, including like the safety of your family and everyone else for? Like, and Feyre's like, Nesta, shut up. Like,
oh my God.
And Nesta's bitching. Elain is kind of just like scared because she's like, but they agree to help her eventually. And they're like, yeah, we can like, you can use our house as a meeting point to talk to the mortal queens. Okay. Now, throughout this, like Feyre is keeping up her training with Rhys and he's helping her deal with kind of what happened to her because he's also clearly scarred. Like he was basically being used for his body for 50 years by
Amarantha's whore.
He was Amarantha's whore, like like against his will, basically to save his city. So he's also going through it. Like he's been through a lot.
Whore to save Velaris.
Yes. So they're kind of helping each other heal, and all the while like having like flirty banter back and forth because they can communicate via the bargain. So they're kind of like mind to mind talking. And it's very clear at this point that like Feyre is developing feelings for Rhys and fighting it. And Rhys is not hiding anything. He's like addicted to Feyre.
Oh, I was about to ask that. Okay.
Clearly.
Hell yes.
Yeah, which is exciting. They end up going to the Summer Court to try to find the half of that book.
Okay.
And Feyre ends up connecting with Tarquin, High Lord of the Summer Court.
Yes.
Rhys does not like this.
No.
Okay. He's getting jealous. And then Feyre sees Rhys flirting with someone else. She freaks the fuck out. And I'm kicking my feet together.
Wait. Say that part again.
Feyre is flirting with Tarquin to kind of get access to that book. Rhys is very clearly jealous, which has me kicking my feet. And Feyre's like, it's fine. Like, I'm obviously like, just like, I have to get on his good side to get the book. And then she sees Rhys kind of like getting cozy with someone. She freaks out. Okay, so it's very clear that like,
we're playing games now.
The game has started. Okay.
That push pull.
Instead of simply just like asking Tarquin, like, hey, do you have this book, by the way? Like, I need it to save the world. She steals it Okay, she ends up using information that Tarquin like trusted her.
From what I know of Feyre, that is so her.
Literally, like her and Rhys and Amren, they steal it, which is like, just ask.
Yeah, like Tarquin's gonna be chill about it.
He's gonna be chill about it. But at the end of the day, they do end up stealing that, and then that does not put them in Tarquin's good graces. They receive blood rubies or something like that, which basically means we've got a hit on you.
Yeah,
like we'll kill you if we see you. Okay,
blood rubies. Okay,
they get the book and they're like, this is not in a language that we could possibly.
But don't they only have half?
They only have half of the book, but it's not in English or whatever language they speak. But Amren thankfully recognizes it from the world that she was born in. So she is able to kind of understand it a little bit. And now it's her job to basically decode these books. Like that is now her mission throughout the rest of the books. Okay. Now let's head to our first meeting with the Mortal Queens back at Nesta and Elain's house where Feyre used to live. But now they have that McMansion because Tamlin gave it to them. Remember?
Which one?
Elain and Nesta.
Oh, yeah.
That McMansion. So they go to the McMansion to meet with the Mortal Queens. Okay. And they say, we will give you the book, but we don't trust Rhys. Like he's a monster. And if you can prove to us that he's not a monster, then we will give you the book. And Rhys is like, okay, I'll show them Velaris. I'm not going to take them to Velaris because like that is my sacred space that no one can breach. But we have to get the truth orb, the Veritas orb from the Court of Nightmares. That's where that orb lives. And if they get that orb, they'll be able to show the Mortal Queens the truth about Velaris and that Rhys is actually like a literal salt of the earth.
Right.
Okay?
Wait, where's the truth orb?
Court of Nightmares.
Court of Nightmares. So they winnow there.
Sure they do winnow there. Yep. Bingo. Okay, they're probably going to winnow there.
You.
But the young man in charge of the Court of Nightmares is actually Mor's father, who she does not have a good relationship with. Mor, okay, years and years and years ago, was basically sold to marriage with this man from the Autumn Court named Eris, who's actually Lucian's brother. Okay. And she was like, I don't want to marry Eris. And her family was like, well, you have to. Like, that would be great to join these two courts. And so she has sex, loses her virginity to Cassian because she's like, I know that he won't want to marry a virgin. So if you just take my virginity, I'll be off the hook. So
he will want to marry a virgin.
He would only want to marry a virgin. Yes, sorry.
Okay, so
she's like, take my virginity and then I'll be off the hook with that marriage. So Cassian does, and that's kind of how Cassian and Mor originally connected. And then Mor is like...
Is Cassian attractive?
Yes, they all are.
Okay.
Mor is like beat to a pulp by her family and like left for dead.
But like also loving that tactic on her part.
Yeah. Smart, but also...
I need to get out of this. Won't you fuck me?
Got her beat for dead, and Cassian has always felt guilty about that.
Okay.
And also, I completely forgot to say, Azriel is completely in love with Mor.
Damn.
So there's kind of a love triangle of like something happened with Cassian and Mor a while ago. Cassian kind of just like serves as this buffer because it's clear like Azriel is like for 500, however many years, has been just like hopelessly in love with Mor, and Mor for whatever reason is like not wanting that.
Okay, but Mor is like sitting pretty having Cassian and
she's basically, there's
Azriel.
kind of a love triangle going on there. Okay. But also now Cassian and Nesta kind of have something going on.
He's going for mortals?
He's going for mortals.
Okay.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bold choice.
So there's something there, but like Nesta is like such a bitch that she like is so mean to Cassian, but it's like kind of like
mean flirt,
but like really mean. But I like it. Okay.
Okay.
So they go to the City of Nightmares where people do believe Rhys is just like evil. And he does not mind being horrible to Mor's father and anybody in the Court of Nightmares because they are all shit. Like they left Mor for dead. Like they're all bad people. Rhys doesn't mind playing the part of like evil leader there. Okay. Doesn't mind treating them like shit. So Rhys walks in and he's the most powerful High Lord. So they do fear him as much as they don't respect him because he is, remember, half Illyrian, which they like think so less of lesser fairies. They do have to respect him because he's so powerful.
Right.
Or they don't respect him, but they fear him. Okay. He brings Feyre as like his +1. Okay. He's like, this is my lady. You will respect her. He has Feyre sit in the throne and has everyone bow to Feyre. Now, meanwhile, Feyre is in these, these little night court cloths. Okay.
Ooh.
She's playing her part now. Same way Rhys plays his part. She's playing her part.
Her
in,
little
like,
night court bando.
Yeah, in her night court Princess Polly bando. Okay. So they are putting on a show. Okay. Rhys and Feyre. Now Feyre is sitting on Rhys's lap in the throne. Like they're like grinding against each other.
God.
And then Rhys can't help but notice that Feyre is like soaking wet. Grinding on each other in the night court.
Left the lap
and he's
wet.
like literally like, it's okay. Like it's just like your body's like natural way of responding. Like I get it. It's totally fine. Which is like so loaded because like that's kind of like referencing how he had to kind of get it up for Amaranth all those years. Like it's just your body's natural way of responding. Like don't worry about it. So he's like kind of feeling bad. He's like, I hope I'm not like doing to Feyre like what Amaranth did to me, but she's like having a fucking ball.
Oh God, yeah.
Okay. They get
she's still in the throne right now.
She's in the throne.
And that's
he's making everyone bow to her. So like not like Tamlin,
while that's
right?
happening.
Kind of like look at that juxtaposition. Like,
yeah.
She was very much just like standing next to Tamlin always when he was in his throne, but he is like, you bow to Feyre. And then Mor's father insults Feyre, and he like snap of his finger breaks every single bone in Mor's dad's body. Yeah, which is like really hot. He's alive, but like just like in complete agony. Okay, which is perfect. Okay, they get the truth orb. They show the mortal queens.
Is Feyre no longer stopping wet? She dried out.
She's dry now, but she's like, woof. Woo!
That was something.
It's like very clear that she's like feeling very attracted.
She's ready to hop back on that throne.
Okay.
Right?
Yup. So Rhys and Feyre are training outside, and all of a sudden they're ambushed by Lucien, who has come to bring her back, and is like, "Oh my God, thank God I found you." And Feyre's like, "No, I left, babe. Like I'm not coming back." And Lucien's like, "No, like clearly they did something to you. Like they're brainwashing you. Like come back."
Oh, I have a question with Feyre and Tamlin and how they had an official like marriage, consorts, whatever. I know you said like the ring like burned.
Yeah.
Oh, but they never actually officially got married?
No, they didn't.
Oh, okay. But so there's nothing like in that world like bonding them together.
Exactly.
Okay,
and remember, she was like, "Where's the mating bond?"
Okay.
But like they're training.
I'm just shocked Tamlin hasn't showed up.
Wait for it. They also like, you're really not supposed to enter other people's courts. So like what Mor did, like Rhys couldn't have gone and got her.
Oh, okay.
Like unannounced. Rhys could only show up because it was like a bargain that was made. Mor like broke rules by coming to get Feyre. Like if Rhys did that, it would have been declaring war.
Okay. Wait, also Mor by doing that did leave Velaris, right?
Yeah, they can now that Amaranth is gone. Like Rhys had put that on them to be like, do not come and save me. Like I got it.
Okay, sorry.
But anyway, Feyre and Rhys have been training this whole time. There is one point, I think it already happened, but let me take you back, that Rhys sends Feyre to the Weaver's cottage. And we learn later the Weaver is actually Bone Carver's sister.
That's my fucking family.
That is your fucking family. Okay, she's just like really like scary and gross. And
that's mean.
Sorry.
That is
but
so
she lives
mean.
in a cottage made of human skin.
Okay, that's how she lives. Like, let the Weaver live. Okay? Imagine being Bo Carver's sister. Oh, you think it's an easy life? Like, sometimes you have to make a home out of human skin.
I feel horrible, Patrick, but it's the way that it's described is like greasy. It's tough.
It's like my room.
Human skin grease, Patrick. Like the other side of human skin. Like the inside. Okay. So Rhys is like, go get my mother's ring for me. Okay. And he makes Feyre like go up against the Weaver, and he's just like sitting out there like having a ball, like waiting to see if Feyre is going to come out or not. He basically wants to see Rhys. Okay. He wants to see if Feyre can figure out how to identify objects. He's like, go find my ring. Like it has a special like je ne sais quoi to it. You'll be able to find it if like you've been working on your powers. And she does end up finding it, which is what ultimately prepares her to find the Book of Breathings.
Okay.
In the spring court. Sorry, I had missed that part, but Rhys had basically just sent her to get his mother's ring, which is pretty.
Okay. Well, does she have any sort of altercation with the Weaver?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. But she wins.
Okay.
Which is like really crazy because the Weaver is mega powerful, Patrick.
I know that.
Anyway, back to present day. Lucien shows up, is trying to take Feyre back. Feyre is like, No. Okay. Lucian's completely shell-shocked by that, but ends up leaving. And then Rhys is like, I think people are tracking us. Let's head on over to the inn. Let's head over to the Night Court Inn.
Let's do it.
Let's head over to the inn because like I just want to like put a break on people tracking us for now. Okay.
Yep.
We get to the inn. I feel horrible. There's only one bed.
Room. There's only going to be one room.
Or
one bed. Like
one room, one bed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am literally, I was sitting next to Mama and Papa reading this. I'm jumping. I'm screaming. I'm like, I'm fist pumping. There's only one bed. I couldn't be more excited to learn that there's only one bed. Okay.
God, yeah.
Here, Rhys and Feyre really, really bond. And Rhys
can say that.
Rhys tells Feyre, like, this is a little bit about like my childhood. A vulnerable moment. He and Tamlin were friends. Growing up, they felt like they didn't want to take in their father's footsteps of being like so like dictators, basically. Like they're both like so anti-mortal and they're feeling like, oh, maybe like if we're High Lords, like things could be different. But at the end of the day, Tamlin was like so desperate to prove himself to his father that he gave up information about where Rhys's mother and sister were because Tamlin's father was like threatened by Rhys and by like Rhys's dad. And so in an effort to win him over, Tamlin was like, this is where Rhys's like mother and sister will be.
Okay, so of course Rhys is not chill
Tamlin
with him.
And his father killed.
You can't forgive him for that.
He killed Rhys's mother and sister. And then in retaliation, Rhys's father killed all of Tamlin's family.
Okay.
And then Rhys...
then
Rhys's dad was about to kill Tamlin and Rhys was like, don't kill him. Which is, I wouldn't have even done that because like I would have been like, yeah, kill him. And Rhys was like, don't kill him.
And Tamlin doesn't even know that.
Tamlin ended up killing Rhys's dad. Tamlin didn't know. And Tamlin had Rhys's sisters and mother's wings on display in the spring court for a while.
Oh my God.
I don't think they're there anymore, right, Izzy? But they were there for quite a bit.
That's great. Tamlin's like a power-hungry loser.
Yeah.
That's not right.
Exactly. So Feyre, this is the moment where Feyre is like, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the wrong side of history.
Yeah.
Oopies.
Yeah.
Oopies. Yeah. But thankfully there's only one bed at the inn and they start hooking up. They do not
Tell me more about that.
They do not have sex, but there is like a lot of canoodling.
Mm-hmm.
And
what else?
Rhys is like, what do you want, Feyre? And what does she say? She just wants a distraction.
Yeah.
And Rhys is like, oh, damn, but okay. Because he's clearly wanting like more.
Right.
And so I think that night they were
she wanted more than a distraction.
But she's not ready yet. She's not ready to say it because she's still broken and healing and confused.
Okay, I guess good for her. That's good.
But you know, they definitely canoodled, and this is when Feyre learns that the wings are a very sensitive part in an Illyrian male's body.
Yup.
This is
you
when
can
we get
say that again.
Wing play.
Okay. Little teasing of the wings.
Yep. Never hurt anyone. The G spot is located on the wings.
Wings are going to be kind of like nipple play.
Yup.
Okay.
Totally. Patrick. Okay. So they do end up getting really sexy, and I do remember sitting next to my grandparents reading this.
And feeling not quite right.
I felt fine.
Okay. You were completely locked in.
I was so locked in. I was completely sick.
Okay, yeah. I'm glad she's, I always support a girl if you're not in a good place. Yeah. Let's not do the full hookup and everything. However,
trust me.
She got some action.
Trust me, she's fine.
Okay. Because I was kind of wishing she would kind of think back to her and the night court tube top.
Right.
And kitten heels stopping wet on his lap and kind of channel that energy.
Literally like so horny for him. It's insane.
Okay.
She's just like not able to get like connect the dots emotionally yet, but she is so drawn to him.
Right.
She's so drawn to him.
Wow. Well, good willpower.
Yeah. They're flying away from the inn and Rhys gets shot with an ash arrow, which that is completely poisonous to fairies. Okay. He goes down. He gets captured by Hybern soldiers. Feyre's freaking out. Okay. She ends up completely saving him, killing all of the people that captured him, but he's still poisoned. Like he's not doing well. Like he's going to die. And she's freaking out. There's only one thing for her to do right now to figure out how to save Rhys.
Suck him off.
Nope, not yet.
All right.
Who is the one person that you can capture to get the truth from?
Miss
Suriel.
Bone Carver. Oh,
Suriel. Okay, so she traps a Suriel.
Suriel.
And it's like, please help me.
A Suriel?
The Suriel.
Okay, thank you.
I used to get confused by that, though. I used to think they were multiple, but I think it's just one young man, the Suriel. Traps the Suriel and is like, how do I save Rhys? And the Suriel's like, oh, you want to figure out how to save your mate's life, do you? And she's like, my what?
Wait, you said mate's wife?
Your mate's life.
Oh, mate's life.
You want to figure out how to save your mate's life, now do you? And she's like, my what?
Because she's mad about mate?
She didn't know. Okay?
That they were mates?
She didn't know. She was waiting for the mating bond to snap in with Tamlin this whole time.
And it had already been.
Meanwhile, remember when
in.
Rhys at the end of the book 1
locked and
gets
loaded,
that look in his face and is like, I gotta go, and flies away?
Mate bond, he felt it.
That's when he was like, oh, and it snapped into place. But she couldn't feel it because she was immortal.
Okay.
Or she had just turned fairy, and so her senses weren't as strong yet.
And she's been training him now.
And she had been so distracted, she didn't realize, and Rhys didn't want to put that on her. Okay. But Rhys has known this from the very first, Rhys has known this whole time. But even when she was going to marry Tamlin, she was like, he was thinking if that will make her happy, I want her to be happy. So and it was when the help me, he realized she's not going to be happy with him, and that's when he infiltrated.
Okay.
So the Suriel broke the news. She's pissed because, of course, why wouldn't she be? She's always finding something.
What is she possibly
He didn't tell her.
Oh my God.
He didn't tell her. So she goes back. She learned how to save his life from the Suriel. And the Suriel this time is like, remember when I told you to stay with the High Lord? That'll keep you safe. I didn't mean the blonde one. I meant this one. And she's like, well, you didn't say that.
Okay. Okay. I can kind of understand her getting annoyed at that, but
right. So I do have goosebumps going back to read the first book when the Suriel for the first time is like, stay with the High Lord, that'll keep you safe. And she's like, oh yeah, Tamlin. And then you reading what you know now, it's like, no, this whole time he was talking about Rhys. Okay.
Love that.
Yeah. So Feyre goes back, saves Rhys, and then is like, I hate you. I'm never talking to you again. I need space. I'm so upset you didn't tell me. So she goes to Rhys's family's cabin for a little to get some space. She ends up painting every inch of the wall, which it's like, babe, that's not your house.
Right. Yeah. Know your place.
But eventually she's making some soup and she's decompressing, and Rhys shows up, and basically this is when we hear all of Rhys's side of the story and why he didn't tell her. And we learn that Rhys had been dreaming of Feyre for years and years, but it was always blurry because she was on the other side of the wall.
Okay.
But once she crossed the wall to enter the spring court with Tamlin, he started really being able to see her. And so one night when he was under the mountain, he told Amarantha hey, I'm just going to go out and spy on your behalf. But what he really wanted to do was go find Feyre and find the girl that he had been dreaming of all the time. And he just wanted to see her once. Okay. And then, oh my God, I have complete chills. Remember when she turned around to see the most beautiful man? He said, hey, I've been looking for you. He didn't just mean that as oh, I've been looking for you tonight, or hey, I've been looking for you to try to get these creeps away. Right. No, he's been looking for her. And SJM laid that out in the first book, and we didn't even know what was happening.
Wow.
Hey, I've been looking for you.
Yeah, you have.
So he's been dreaming of her for years, and he's actually been sending images to Feyre. Feyre had been having visions of the night sky at home. In A Court of Thorns and Roses, the first book, one of her first paintings is on her dresser. She drew a night sky, and it turns out Rhys had blasted that image.
Yeah, he blasted via mine.
So Rhys has been there the whole time.
Wow.
Really. And basically just in when they were under the mountain, his goal was to just keep her alive, and he was still keeping up that evil night court persona, but selfishly he also wanted to show Tamlin fuck you.
Yeah. Looking out.
I like her too.
Yeah.
And so that
we
was
all
kind
like
of
her.
The bargain, and making her drink the wine. He didn't want her to remember anything that happened from under the night court. He just wanted her to forget everything. But yeah, now it's so clear that Tamlin literally just sat there the whole fucking time. Rhys was the only one that did anything to help her. Wow. And so Rhys is basically there's this tradition, if you accept the mating bond, you serve me food. It's this old tradition, doesn't matter. And Feyre just slides the bowl of soup to him. And now they're mates. No, now she accepted the mating bond.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so now they're mates. And then That's chapter 54. Chapter 55, they're
Things
fucking.
get kicking.
It's literally, that's the part where where I was able to contact you immediately. That's like
things kind of,
they're fucking in the paint.
Okay. Hell yes.
Yep. And there is a type of frenzy that takes over. Once the mating bond is in place, they literally can't stop having sex.
Oh my God. I'm sure there's plenty of wing play happening.
So much wing play, but it gets kind of like cut short, unfortunately, because back in the Mortal Lands, even though Rhys showed them Velaris, they're not giving him the book. And so they're like, well, we need the book. Otherwise, we can't nullify the cauldron.
Right.
So that's really bad. But luckily, one of the mortal queens turns on the others and like leaves the book behind. And so now they're set. They have two halves of the book. But once they get back to Velaris, the mortal queens betrayed them. And they're attacked in Velaris, which has been unbreached for centuries.
And of all people, the mortal queens did this?
Yeah, they're evil. They're just power hungry. And they think...
But I thought they didn't really have powers.
They're power hungry. So they kind of think aligning with Hybern and the king
and
the cauldron is kind of like... They're ready to throw the whole mortal realm under the bus for that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, good question. So Velaris is attacked. The mortal queen that betrayed the other mortal queens is impaled on a lamppost.
But were Nesta and
they're fine. Cassian has sworn to protect them with his life.
But they weren't in on the.
No. They're part of our inner circle.
Okay.
And Cassian is protecting them, so that's good. But yeah, Velaris is attacked. This is where we really see like the extent of Feyre's powers. She like defeats them like pretty much on her own. Like she rises an army of wolves from the water. It's like crazy what she's doing. She knocks them all out. Okay. So Amren and then Rhys is able to put the shields back up. Okay. Amren decodes the book and they decide that they're all going to go to Hybern.
Okay.
To nullify the cauldron. This goes really, really badly. Okay. Because once they get there, they run into Jurian, who's the young man whose eyeball was preserved.
As well as who showed up, who the Bone Carver presented as
exactly. He shows up
Rhys.
and now he's working for the King of Hybern and he takes them to the King of Hybern. Okay. And now Azriel's been like impaled with an ash arrow in the heart or something or in the chest. And so if they were like if anyone like moved the ash arrow, Azriel would die. So basically like his life is being held in the King of Hybern's hands. He's like, if you do anything, Azriel's dead. And also like he kind of like stripped them of most of their magic. So they're only hanging on to like a little bit of their magic and God. Azriel's like about to die. Okay.
Do they have eyes on the cauldron yet?
They had eyes on the cauldron. That's where they were when Jurian captured them. So they are now not with the cauldron anymore.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Okay.
Unfortunately, out of the shadows walks Tamlin.
Knew it.
And Lucian is by his side. He has made a deal with the king.
A deal with the devil.
He literally made a deal with the King of Hybern that if he captures Feyre and gets her back to him, then he will let the King of Hybern use his court, the Spring Court, to infiltrate the mortal realm.
Jeez.
Okay, so he's like, I'll help you, do whatever you need to do, just get Feyre back to me.
And I'm sure he's showing up angry.
Yeah, he's pissed as all hell. And he's like, but he's still genuinely thinking that Feyre does not like want to be with Rhys. Like he has no idea they're now mates. Okay, he's thinking that like Rhys has taken her away. Okay. Now the mortal queens walk out of the other side and they're like, okay, we want to see what the cauldron can do to help us. Like we want to see if the cauldron could make a mortal like us immortal and then we'll help you and we'll be #Team Hybern. Okay. Show us how it would make someone immortal before we jump in. And the king is like, no problem. I have 2 mortals right here. I could show you. Elain and Nesta. He brings them out. Okay. Feyre is like, fuck no.
She's in
Turns
shock.
out Ianthe. Remember Ianthe from the beginning? Sold them out. Sold those two. Sold Nesta and Elain out.
Oh,
yeah.
Was she pissed
like
at Feyre for the whole wedding situation?
She's just evil.
Okay.
Yeah, she's just completely evil. So Nesta and Elain are thrown into the cauldron.
Okay.
And they come out immortal. So they're now Fae. Nesta goes in with a fight and she literally like points to the King of Hybern when she's going under the cauldron and she's basically like, I'm gonna kill you. Like, and she's scary. So like that holds weight. And
wait, are they immediately come out of the cauldron with powers and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
So they come out. Nesta comes out. Then Elain comes out. And Lucian sinks to his knees and is like, that's my mate.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's another layer.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And is it clicking?
And Elain is like, I've got a boyfriend back when he's immortal. Like, I love my mortal boyfriend. Unfortunately, my mortal boyfriend hates fairies, which is challenging because I am now one.
Right.
But I'm not interested in you, Lucian, at all. And Lucian is like addicted to his mate.
Oh my God. Wait, why would, I know he was like trying to show that he could make mortals immortal, but like, why would Hybern King guy turn those two girls, the sisters, into Fae if like they're just gonna then immediately get powers and then like turn on him? That's
honestly like a valid point, but he just like,
I guess he's probably stronger too, but
yeah, I'm sure he just like wasn't worried and also just wanted to show the mortal queens and while also making Feyre really angry.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the mortal queens are like, yay. And they jump into the cauldron. One of them jumps into the cauldron after Nesta, but clearly Nesta did something bad in the cauldron. And so one of the mortal queens comes out like a crone.
She got fucked up in the cauldron.
Really fucked up in the cauldron.
Botched in the cauldron.
Completely botched. Okay. So now it's time for Feyre to put on a show. Okay. All she wants is for her sisters and her mate and everyone to get out of there safely. And this whole time she's been using like whatever power she has left to break whatever spell the King of Hybern has put on everyone so that they can use their powers to just get out of there. So she starts putting on a show that's like, oh, I'm getting my memory back. Like, oh my God, Tamlin, take me home. Like, putting on a full show. And she's pretending she's like, oh my God, Rhys is evil. Yay, Tamlin, take me home. And also, King of Hybern, break the bond between me and Rhys. Like, I don't want him. She's putting on a show. And like, it's really hard to watch.
Right.
Because she's like, break the bond. And Rhys is like, no, do not. And
What
I'm like, no, do not.
did?
And I'm like, he did. He breaks the bond. Okay, he breaks that bargain between them. Her bargain tattoo is gone. Rhys is screaming. The scream that Rhys let out when the bargain was broken, because it's also physically painful and emotionally he was destroyed. But he gets the sisters to safety. He brings everyone back to the townhouse in Velaris. And they're all safe, and Feyre goes back to the spring court with Tamlin. And that is how the book ends. And I want to read you the last few pages of the book because it's like completely bone chilling.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy that it ends like that.
It ends like that with Feyre walking back into the spring court. But there's a twist, and I want to read it to you. Okay?
I mean, I know she's got a bigger plan because if she's performing and doing all this, like she's doing something. But for her to break that bond.
Right.
That's big.
So listen to this. This is the first time we get Rhys's POV. Okay, so this is chapter 68, Rhysand.
When you flip that page
I was like, oh my God. Okay, this is when they get right back from Hybern into the townhouse. Okay.
I do love like how in this world there's like so many like weird like its own things happening, but then like every now and then there's something just like so human, like, and then they were at the townhome. So.
Exactly.
Ski out townhome.
Okay, ready? Make yourself comfortable. We've got a few pages.
Okay.
I slammed into the floor of the townhouse, and Amren was instantly there, hands on Cassian's wings, which, by the way, his wings are completely shredded, swearing at the damage, then at the hole in Azriel's chest. Even her healing couldn't fix both. No, we'd need a real healer for each of them, and fast, because if Cassian lost those wings, I knew he'd prefer death. Any Illyrian would. Where is she? Amren demanded. Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? Get the book out of here, I said, dumping the pieces onto the ground. I hated the touch of them, their madness and despair and joy. Amren ignored the order. More hadn't appeared, dropping off or hiding Nesta and Elain wherever she deemed safest. Where is she? Amren said again, pressing a hand into Cassian's ravaged back. I knew she didn't mean more. As if my thoughts had summoned her, my cousin appeared, panting, haggard. She dropped to the floor before Azriel, her blood-caked hands shaking as she ripped the arrow free of his chest, blood showering the carpet. She shoved her fingers over the wound, light flaring as her power knit bone and flesh and vein together. Where is she? Amren snapped one more time. I couldn't bring myself to say the words. So Mor said them for me as she knelt over Azriel, both of my brothers mercifully unconscious. And by the way, Amren wasn't there, so she's like, doesn't know what happened with Feyre. That's a key detail.
But in the Ash arrow is called, right?
Yes, exactly. I guess
was being pulled out of Azriel.
Azriel, yeah.
And Amren's doing that.
Mor as
okay.
Amren's going, where is she? Where is she? So Mor said them for me as she knelt over Azriel, both of my brothers mercifully. Sorry, I have Invisalign now. I didn't tell y'all. Mercifully unconscious. Tamlin offered passage through his lands and our heads on platters to the king in exchange for trapping Feyre, breaking her bond, and getting to bring her back to the Spring Court. But Ianthe betrayed Tamlin, told the king where to find Feyre's sisters. So the king had Feyre's sisters brought with the queens to prove he could make them immortal. He put them in the cauldron. We could do nothing as they were turned. He had us by the balls.
Yep.
Those quicksilver eyes shot to me. Rhysand, I managed to say. We were out of options, and Feyre knew it. So she pretended to free herself from the control Tamlin thought I'd kept on her mind, pretended that she hated us, and told him she'd go home, but only if the killing stopped.
So Rhys knew she was putting on a show.
Yes, but it was still painful.
Of course.
And he was also putting on a show, too. Like with the, what? Only if the killing stopped, if we went free. And the bond, Amren breathed, Cassian's blood shining on her hands as she slowed its dribbling. Mor said she asked the king to break the bond. He obliged. I thought I might be dying, thought my chest might actually be cleaved in two. That's how Rhys is genuinely feeling about the bond being cleaved. That's impossible, Amren said. That sort of bond cannot be broken. The king said he could do it. The king is a fool, Amren barked.
Yep.
That sort of bond cannot be broken. No, it can't, I said. They both looked at me. I cleared my head, my shattering heart, breaking for what my mate had done, had sacrificed for me and my family, for her sisters, because she hadn't thought she was essential. Even after all...
She's an essential worker. She's an essential worker right now, okay?
Even after all that she had done, the king broke the bargain between us. Hard to do, but he could do it. But he couldn't tell that it wasn't the mating bond. Mor started, Does Feyre know? Yes, I breathed. And that she's his mate.
Mm-hmm.
And now my mate is in our enemy's hands. Go get her, Amren hissed. Right now. No, I said, and I hated the word. They gaped at me, and I wanted to roar at the sight of the blood coating them, at my unconscious and suffering brothers on the carpet. But I managed to say to my cousin, weren't you listening to what Feyre said to him? She promised to destroy him from within. Mor's face paled, her magic flaring on Azriel's chest. She's going into that house to take him down, to take them all down. I nodded. She's now a spy, with a direct line to me. What the king of Hybern does, where he goes, what his plans are, she will know it and report back. For between us, faint and soft, hidden so none might find it, between us lay a whisper of color and joy and light and shadow, a whisper of her, our bond. She's your mate, Amren bit at me, not your spy. Go get her. She's my mate and my spy, I said too quietly, and she is now the high lady of the night court.
Wow. So that I'm taking that's a big moment.
Because remember, Tamlin was like, there are no high ladies.
Oh, yeah.
What? Mor whispered. I caressed a mental finger down that bond, now hidden deep within us, and said, if they had... What?
Say that again.
I caressed a mental finger down that bond. Because remember, the bargain was broken. The king thought knew he was breaking that, but he didn't know about the mating bond.
Okay.
If they had removed her other glove, they would see a second tattoo on her right arm, the twin to the other, inked last night when we crept out, found a priestess, and I swore her in as my high lady. Not consort, Amren blurted, blinking. I hadn't seen her surprised in centuries. Not consort, not wife. Feyre is high lady of the night court. My equal in every way, she would wear my crown, sit on the throne beside me, never sidelined, never designated to breeding and parties and child rearing. My queen.
My queen.
As if in an answer, a glimmer of love shuddered down the bond. I clamped down on the relief that threatened to shatter any calm I feigned having. You mean to tell me, Mor breathed, that my high lady is now surrounded by enemies? A lethal sort of calm crept over her tear-streaked face. I mean to tell you, I said, watching the blood clot on Cassian's wings with Amren tending. Beneath Mor's own hands, Azriel's bleeding at least ease, enough to keep them alive until the healer got here. I mean to tell you, I said, again, my power building and rubbing itself against my skin, my bones, desperate to be unleashed upon the world, that your high lady made a sacrifice for her court, and we will move when the time is right. Until then, Amren demanded, what of the cauldron, what of the book? Until then, I said, staring, at the door as if I might see her walk through it, laughing and vibrant and beautiful. We go to war.
Wow.
Now we go back to Feyre walking into the spring court. Okay?
Okay.
I'm going to kind of speed through this one.
Okay.
Blah, 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 blah. She's like fucking around with Tamlin, pretending that she's in love with him still.
And she's well aware she's a high lady now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They went to the high priestess.
And that's the hand tattoo?
Yes, but it's under the glove.
Okay.
And she can now mask that with a glamour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now that she has her powers. I gave Lucien a sweet, sleepy smile, and so our game began. And this is when they're like walking into the manor.
Mm-hmm.
We hit the sweeping marble stairs to the front door of the manor, and so Tamlin unwittingly led the High Lady of the Night Court into the heart of his territory.
Wow.
Yup.
Because you would never let a High Lord of another thing.
Oh, God, no. And he's thinking that's his, like, consort.
Right.
So, like, a girl that he can just, like, push around and be like,
wow.
Yeah, you're my wife, stand next to me.
Wait, but what is her plan?
That is the next book.
Okay, so
she's just trying to
don't really know what.
No, she's trying to get information and take everything down from within, which is what we'll get into.
Okay, and right now the cauldron's still at large.
Yep, cauldron's still up and running. Hybern still has the upper hand, but they have no idea that Feyre is a spy.
Okay, spy and a High Lady.
Unwittingly led the High Lady of the Night Court into the heart of his territory.
Yup.
Wow. My High Lady, my queen. My equal in every way.
They need to put that on, what's that app? Quinn?
Oh my God. I literally, like, those last 5 pages, I've never had goosebumps. Like,
I just like truly, like, I already said this, but like can't imagine you flipping that page over and then seeing Rhys or whatever and knowing it was from his perspective. Like, were you like...
Yes. And then in the book that Izzy's reading now, or just finished, which is that little one. So the first 3 books, A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, and A Court of Winks and Raywin, are told through Feyre's perspective. Okay. Then that was like the original trilogy. It was just supposed to be a trilogy. And then everyone was so addicted to it that she started writing more. And so the novella, which is the one that comes after the first 3, which is that little one, is told through, it's very short, but it's told through Feyre's perspective, through Rhys's perspective. So we get Rhys in there, through Cassian's perspective too. And do we get Nesta?
No, that's in the paragraph.
Okay, so and it's told through Cassian. So it's like transitioning us
I bet that was such a quick read. And it transitions, not a lot happens in there, but it transitions us to the last book, which is about Cassian and Nesta. Okay. So it's really only the first 3 books that we get a lot of Rhys, which is devastating. It isn't just like based off what we've talked about. It is interesting that Cassian and Nesta kind of shift into main characters.
Yes, that is. A lot of people don't like it, and a lot of people like it more. I missed Rhys.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's also like Nesta and Rhys hate each other because Rhys is like, you're so horrible to my gorgeous wife. Like, I hate you. And Nesta's like, you're just like a prick. But so we only see Rhys through Nesta's eyes in the last book, and it's like unpleasant because it's like, that's not my Rhys, like that's Nesta's Rhys, which like yeah I prefer to see Rhys through Feyre's eyes. Wait, those are my eyes.
What was when we did the episode on the first one, there was one thing people were commenting about, like, oh, y'all didn't touch on blah, and like
the masks.
Yeah, what's that?
Literally, like, it's so irrelevant. Basically, part of the curse that Amarantha put on the Spring Court is they all have to wear these masks. Like, masks are stuck to Tamlin and Lucien's face and everybody in the Spring Court. And then when the Feyre broke the curse, the masks dropped. Oh, I find that pretty irrelevant. Okay, but
let's go to a masquerade.
Let's stay out all night. Yup. And I think that's really it. Does that feel right? Am I missing anything?
No, a lot happened compared to the first book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot happened. I can see how it picked up.
I am missing stuff. And it's just like Rhys. Oh my God.
I feel like you did kind of go over the night at the end kind of quickly.
Yeah.
And any specifics there?
That is just like when we really learn about how horrible Tamlin is.
I meant like physically when they hooked up.
I think there was just like fingering.
Oh, it didn't
fingering and wing play.
It wasn't too smutty?
No, it was I liked it.
Yeah, definitely liked it.
I definitely liked it. It was a good amount. The smutty chapter is chapter 55 when in the paint after Feyre gives Rhys a bowl of soup. Yeah.
Oh wait, okay. Other question: because you kind of hinted at this connection, so I don't know if this is spoiler for later book or not. But when Feyre is seeing Bone Carver as little boy purple, did she make that? Purple eyes. Did she make the connection to Rhys
not in the moment? She didn't make that connection in the moment. She makes the connection later, which is something that we'll discuss
in a later book. Getting ahead of myself over here.
Getting ahead of yourself.
But I love to bring up the Bone Carver
and
Miss Weaver.
Bone Carver comes back.
Thank God. And Weaver
and a young man named Broxus who you'll really like.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I just want to go to Weaver's human skin cottage.
I know. We do go back to the skin cottage. Something so sad happens near the cottage.
Really?
Yeah.
I hope it's not the Weaver's fault.
No, she does good.
You can't blame her.
No, the Weaver ends up being a great asset. And we'll get into that for the next book.
Okay.
But thank you guys so much, Patrick. I mean, I'd rather unpack.
Thank you for having me yet again. I love hearing you talk about your passions.
And I love
this right here.
That's a passion, all right?
This is passion.
That could be my biggest passion.
It really could.
And the next book, A Court of Wings and Ruin, is my second favorite. So I'm really excited.
Hell yes.
That one. That is about that I read in a day, in one day only. Working is that an 800 pager, 700 pager? $6.99.
Okay. One day, not bad.
Not bad at all. So yeah, can't wait to get into that. And stay tuned for next week. We are having a 2-part obsessed extravaganza.
You are?
Yeah, you're coming, by the way.
Okay.
I
love that. I'm so excited.
We'll have some special guests.
Okay.
I think I said never mind. Yes, continue. Thank you. Love you all.
Love you.
Bye.